E.M. Forster, one of the most celebrated novelists of the 20th century, left an indelible mark on English literature through his exploration of the human condition, class struggles, and the complexity of relationships. Born in a time of significant social and cultural change, Forster's works bridge the Victorian and modern eras, offering a nuanced critique of the hypocrisies and rigidities of Edwardian society. Forster's novels, including A Room with a View, 1908, Howard's End, 1910, and A Passage to India, 1924, continue to resonate with readers for their vivid characters and timeless themes of connection and empathy. His unique ability to weave humor, irony, and social commentary into compelling narratives has cemented his position among literary greats. This biography delves deep into Forster's life and career, exploring how his personal experiences, education, and relationships influenced his writing. It also examines his legacy, focusing on the continued relevance of his themes in today's world. Forster's unwavering belief in the power of personal relationships and humanism offers a counterpoint to the alienation of modern life, ensuring his works remain an essential part of literary studies. Edward Morgan Forster was born on January 1, 1879, in London, to Edward Morgan Llewellyn Forster, an architect, and Alice Clara Wachilo. The only child of a middle-class family, Forster's early life was marked by a profound sense of loss following the death of his father when he was just a year old. Raised by his mother and a series of female relatives, Forster's childhood was shaped by a mix of nurturing care and the restrictions of a conservative, late Victorian upbringing. His mother, Alice, played a dominant role in his life, fostering a close but often stifling relationship. This dynamic, combined with the absence of a paternal figure, significantly influenced Forster's understanding of family and relationships, recurring themes in his novels. Forster spent much of his early years in Hertfordshire, where he developed a love for the countryside, an appreciation that would later find expression in the idyllic settings of A Room with a View and Howard's End. He attended Tunbridge School in Kent, a traditional public school known for its rigid discipline. The oppressive atmosphere of the school left a lasting impression, inspiring the critique of institutional authority evident in his works. During his formative years, Forster demonstrated an early aptitude for storytelling, often creating imaginary worlds. Encouraged by his mother and tutors, he developed a keen interest in literature, laying the foundation for his future career. His exposure to the works of authors like Samuel Butler and Henry James provided him with literary models to emulate and challenge. In 1897, E.M. Forster began his studies at King's College, Cambridge, an institution that would have a profound and lasting influence on his personal and intellectual development. At Cambridge, Forster studied classics and history, immersing himself in an environment that celebrated free thought, intellectual exploration, and camaraderie. During his time at Cambridge, Forster became a member of the Apostles, an elite intellectual society known for its discussions on philosophy, literature, and ethics. Membership in this group exposed him to a range of progressive ideas, including the works of philosophers like G. E. Moore, whose emphasis on the intrinsic value of human relationships and individual experiences resonated deeply with Forster. This philosophical underpinning would become a hallmark of his literary works, particularly in their focus on personal connection and moral integrity. Forster's Cambridge years were also defined by the deep friendships he forged, many of which lasted a lifetime. He became close with figures such as Goldsworthy Lowes Dickinson, who introduced him to liberal humanist ideals. Dickinson's influence is evident in Forster's essays and his novel The Longest Journey. These relationships provided Forster with a sense of belonging that had been absent during his school years, nurturing both his intellectual and emotional growth. Cambridge offered Forster a space to question societal norms and explore his burgeoning identity. The university's culture of debate and critique encouraged him to examine class structures, the role of tradition, and the limitations of Victorian morality, subjects that would later be central to his novels. His education also deepened his appreciation for classical literature and philosophy, which influenced his narrative style and thematic choices. While at Cambridge, Forster began experimenting with writing, producing essays and short stories that revealed his keen observational skills and emerging literary voice. Though his early attempts were often tentative, they reflected his growing interest in capturing the nuances of human interaction and the social tensions of his time. Forster's ties to Cambridge remained strong throughout his life. He returned to King's College as a fellow in his later years, finding solace and community within its walls. Cambridge was not only a place of academic achievement, but also a sanctuary where Forster could fully embrace his intellectual and emotional self. These years marked a pivotal chapter in Forster's life, equipping him with the tools, relationships, and perspectives that would shape his literary career. The liberal and nurturing environment of Cambridge allowed him to develop the themes of humanism, individuality, and connection that are so deeply embedded in his works. After graduating from King's College, Cambridge, in 1901, Forster embarked on a period of self-discovery and exploration that would lay the groundwork for his literary career. His early post-graduation years were marked by travel, teaching, and the gradual development of his craft as a writer. Forster took up a position as a tutor for the children of a wealthy family in Germany, an experience that exposed him to European culture and ideas. Although teaching was not his passion, this role allowed him the time and financial stability to write. He also spent a brief period teaching at the Working Men's College in London, where he encountered individuals from a variety of social backgrounds, deepening his understanding of class dynamics, a recurring theme in his novels. Between 1902 and 1903, Forster traveled extensively across Italy and Greece with his mother. These travels were transformative, introducing him to the beauty and vitality of Mediterranean culture. Italy, in particular, inspired his imagination and provided the setting for his early works, including Where Angels Fear to Tread, 1905, and A Room with a View, 1908. The contrast between the freedom of Italian life and the restraint of English society became a central motif in these novels. Forster's literary career began modestly with the publication of essays and short stories in various magazines. In 1903, he became associated with the Independent Review, a liberal periodical where he contributed pieces that showcased his sharp social critique and budding literary talent. These writings allowed Forster to refine his voice and explore themes of class, morality, and the individual's place within society. Forster's debut novel, Where Angels Fear to Tread, marked the culmination of his early efforts as a writer. Inspired by his travels in Italy, the novel tells the story of cultural clashes and moral dilemmas faced by English travelers in a foreign land. The book was praised for its wit, vivid characterization, and astute social commentary, establishing Forster as a promising new voice in English literature. In his early works, Forster began to develop the themes that would define his literary career: the tension between individual desires and societal expectations, the hypocrisy of the upper classes, and the search for authentic human connection. His narrative style, characterized by subtle irony and a deep understanding of human nature, emerged during this period. While his first novel was well received, Forster faced challenges in balancing his creative ambitions with societal pressures. As a young writer from a middle-class background, he navigated the tension between financial security and artistic freedom. These struggles only strengthened his resolve to pursue literature as his true calling. Forster's early career laid the foundation for the masterpieces that would follow. His initial successes and experiences as a writer enabled him to establish himself as a thoughtful and innovative storyteller, unafraid to tackle complex social issues. Forster's novels are considered some of the finest in English literature, renowned for their exploration of human relationships, class dynamics, and the search for meaning in a rapidly changing world. His major works reflect his ability to critique society with both humor and empathy while addressing universal themes of connection and morality. Forster's debut novel, Where Angels Fear to Tread, is a sharp critique of English provincialism and cultural insularity. The story follows Lilia Hareton, a young widow who travels to Italy, falls in love with a local man, and sparks a series of tragic events. The novel juxtaposes the vibrancy of Italian life with the rigid propriety of the English middle class, exposing the arrogance and moral failings of the latter. The novel was praised for its incisive humor and mature handling of serious themes, marking Forster as a promising literary talent. Forster's second novel is his most personal and philosophical. The Longest Journey tells the story of Ricky Elliott, an idealistic young man grappling with his place in the world. The novel reflects Forster's own experiences with education, family, and the challenge of reconciling personal ideals with societal expectations. Though less popular than his other novels, The Longest Journey is admired for its introspection and depth. Set in both Italy and England, A Room with a View is one of Forster's most beloved works. It follows Lucy Honeychurch, a young woman caught between the conventional expectations of her social class and the possibility of personal freedom represented by her love interest, George Emerson. The novel was a critical and commercial success, cementing Forster's reputation as a major novelist. Its exploration of personal growth and the importance of self-discovery resonated with readers and continues to do so today. Widely regarded as Forster's masterpiece, Howard's End is a profound exploration of class conflict, personal relationships, and the meaning of home. The novel centers on the interactions between three families: the idealistic and intellectual Schlegels, the practical and materialistic Wilcoxes, and the struggling Basts. The novel received widespread acclaim for its richly developed characters and philosophical depth. It remains a landmark work in English literature. Forster's final novel is a searing examination of British colonial rule in India and the complexities of cross-cultural relationships. The story revolves around the friendship between Dr. Aziz, an Indian Muslim, and Cyril Fielding, an Englishman, set against the backdrop of a controversial incident during a visit to the Marabar Caves. A Passage to India was a critical and commercial triumph, winning the James Tait Black Memorial Prize and the Prix Femina Vie Heureuse. It is often hailed as one of the greatest novels of the 20th century for its nuanced portrayal of colonial India. Written in 1913-14 but published only after Forster's death, Maurice is a groundbreaking novel about same-sex love in Edwardian England. The story follows Maurice Hall as he comes to terms with his sexuality and finds love with Alex Scudder, a gamekeeper. Forster chose not to publish Maurice during his lifetime due to its explicit treatment of homosexuality and its happy ending, a rarity in literature of the time. The novel has since been celebrated as a pioneering work in LGBTQ+ literature. Forster's novels collectively reflect his commitment to understanding human complexity, critiquing social systems, and championing the values of empathy and connection. His body of work remains a cornerstone of modern English literature, influencing generations of writers and readers alike. Travel played a pivotal role in shaping Forster's worldview and literary sensibilities. His journeys across Europe, the Mediterranean, and Asia provided him with the cultural insights and inspiration that deeply influenced his writing. Through his experiences abroad, Forster explored themes of cultural identity, human connection, and the tension between tradition and modernity. Forster first visited Italy in 1901, traveling with his mother. The vibrant culture, artistic heritage, and natural beauty of the country captivated him and left a lasting impression. Italy became a setting and a symbol in his early works, representing freedom, vitality, and emotional authenticity in contrast to the rigidity of English society. The novel's depiction of cultural misunderstandings and the allure of Italy reflects Forster's own observations during his travels. Italy's passionate, unpredictable nature provided the perfect backdrop for exploring human emotions and societal conflicts. Italy is again central in this novel, where its romantic landscapes and liberating atmosphere enable the protagonist, Lucy Honeychurch, to embrace her individuality and defy societal expectations. Though less popular than his other novels, The Longest Journey is admired for its introspection and depth. Set in both Italy and England, A Room with a View is one of Forster's most beloved works. It follows Lucy Honeychurch, a young woman caught between the conventional expectations of her social class and the possibility of personal freedom represented by her love interest, George Emerson. The novel was a critical and commercial success, cementing Forster's reputation as a major novelist. Its exploration of personal growth and the importance of self-discovery resonated with readers and continues to do so today. Widely regarded as Forster's masterpiece, Howard's End is a profound exploration of class conflict, personal relationships, and the meaning of home. The novel centers on the interactions between three families: the idealistic and intellectual Schlegels, the practical and materialistic Wilcoxes, and the struggling Basts. The novel received widespread acclaim for its richly developed characters and philosophical depth. It remains a landmark work in English literature. Forster's final novel is a searing examination of British colonial rule in India and the complexities of cross-cultural relationships. The story revolves around the friendship between Dr. Aziz, an Indian Muslim, and Cyril Fielding, an Englishman, set against the backdrop of a controversial incident during a visit to the Marabar Caves. A passage to India was a critical and commercial triumph, winning the James Tait Black Memorial Prize and the Prix Femina Vieux. It is often hailed as one of the greatest novels of the 20th century for its nuanced portrayal of colonial India. Written in 1913-14 but published only after Forster's death, Maurice is a groundbreaking novel about same-sex love in Edwardian England. The story follows Maurice Hall as he comes to terms with his sexuality and finds love with Alex Scudder, a gamekeeper. Forster chose not to publish Maurice during his lifetime due to its explicit treatment of homosexuality and its happy ending, a rarity in literature of the time. The novel has since been celebrated as a pioneering work in LGBTQ+ literature. Forster's novels collectively reflect his commitment to understanding human complexity, critiquing social systems, and championing the values of empathy and connection. His body of work remains a cornerstone of modern English literature, influencing generations of writers and readers alike. Travel played a pivotal role in shaping E.M. Forster's worldview and literary sensibilities. His journeys across Europe, the Mediterranean, and Asia provided him with the cultural insights and inspiration that deeply influenced his writing. Through his experiences abroad, Forster explored themes of cultural identity, human connection, and the tension between tradition and modernity. Forster first visited Italy in 1901, traveling with his mother. The vibrant culture, artistic heritage, and natural beauty of the country captivated him and left a lasting impression. Italy became a setting and a symbol in his early works, representing freedom, vitality, and emotional authenticity in contrast to the rigidity of English society. The novel's depiction of cultural misunderstandings and the allure of Italy reflects Forster's own observations during his travels. Italy's passionate, unpredictable nature provided the perfect backdrop for exploring human emotions and societal conflicts. Italy is again central in this novel, where its romantic landscapes and liberating atmosphere enable the protagonist, Lucy Honeychurch, to embrace her individuality and defy societal expectations. In 1911, Forster traveled to Greece and the Mediterranean, further enriching his understanding of classical culture and its values. His exposure to ancient ruins and Greek mythology deepened his appreciation for the humanistic ideals of beauty, wisdom, and balance, which subtly permeated his works. Forster's essays from this period reflect his fascination with the Mediterranean world as a place where art, history, and human nature converge. These travels reinforced his belief in the enduring importance of personal relationships over material or societal constraints. Forster's two visits to India, first in 1912 to 1913 and later in 1921, were among the most significant journeys of his life. They not only inspired his masterpiece, A Passage to India, but also profoundly influenced his understanding of cultural and political tensions. The 1912 to 1913 visit. Forster's initial visit was as a private secretary to the Maharaja of Duas Senior, a princely state in central India. This role gave him a unique perspective on the complex interplay of power, culture, and tradition in colonial India. He formed friendships with Indian intellectuals and observed the prejudices and hierarchies of British colonial rule. The 1921 visit. Forster's second visit coincided with the growing Indian independence movement. This visit solidified his critique of colonialism, which became a central theme in A Passage to India. His experiences in India deepened his appreciation for the richness of Indian culture while exposing the chasm between colonial authorities and the native population. In A Passage to India, the country itself becomes a character, reflecting its vastness, mystery, and contradictions. Forster's portrayal of the Marabar Caves, a symbolic and enigmatic setting, exemplifies his ability to use travel-inspired imagery to convey deeper philosophical questions. Forster's travels opened his eyes to the richness of human diversity and the complexities of cultural interaction. They reinforced his belief in the universality of human experience and the importance of empathy and understanding across cultural divides. These ideas are evident in his writing, where he often juxtaposes the vibrancy of foreign cultures with the constraints of English society. Forster's engagement with different cultures and landscapes shaped not only his narratives, but also his worldview. He became an advocate for tolerance and mutual respect, values that are woven into the fabric of his works. Through his travels, he gained a profound understanding of the human condition, enabling him to write stories that transcend geographic and temporal boundaries. In addition to his celebrated novels, Forster was a prolific critic and essayist whose nonfiction writings reveal his incisive intellect and humanistic philosophy. His essays, lectures, and critical works provide valuable insights into his views on literature, politics, and society, complementing his fictional explorations of human connection and moral integrity. Forster's literary criticism reflects his deep engagement with the art of storytelling and his nuanced understanding of narrative structure and character development. His most famous critical work, Aspects of the Novel, 1927, remains a seminal text in literary studies. In this series of lectures delivered at Trinity College, Cambridge, Forster analyzed the elements that make up a novel, including plot, character, rhythm, and pattern. Rather than adhering to rigid rules, he emphasized the organic nature of storytelling and the importance of capturing the spirit of a novel. Forster wrote numerous essays on authors he admired, including Jane Austen, Charles Dickens, and Marcel Proust. His critiques were characterized by their blend of admiration and thoughtful analysis, highlighting his deep respect for the transformative power of literature. Forster's essays and lectures also tackled pressing social and political issues of his time. His liberal humanism and belief in individual dignity informed his critique of societal injustices. Forster was deeply critical of British colonialism, a stance that is evident in both his fiction and essays. His experiences in India, combined with his friendship with Indian intellectuals like Syed Ras Masood, shaped his nuanced understanding of colonial dynamics. In essays such as India Again and The Challenge of Our Time, Forster advocated for mutual respect and understanding between cultures. A lifelong advocate for personal freedom, Forster addressed issues such as censorship, free speech, and equality. His essay, What I Believe, 1938, is a powerful articulation of his humanist ideals. In it, he argues for the importance of personal relationships and individual moral courage over rigid systems of authority or dogma.
Key quote is,
"Oh, I hate the idea of causes, and if I had to choose between betraying my country and betraying my friend, I hope I should have the guts to betray my country." Forster was a vocal opponent of fascism and other authoritarian regimes that threatened human dignity and freedom. His essays during the interwar period warn of the dangers of conformity and the loss of personal autonomy. Forster's work as a broadcaster for the BBC during the 1930s and 1940s brought his ideas to a wider audience. His talks covered a range of topics, from literature to current events, and were appreciated for their warmth, humor, and thoughtfulness. These broadcasts allowed Forster to connect with ordinary listeners, reinforcing his reputation as an accessible and relatable intellectual. Forster's essays often explore the same themes as his novels, including the importance of human connection, the critique of class and cultural divides, and the value of personal integrity. However, his nonfiction writings provided him with a different platform to address these issues more directly and explicitly. Forster's essays and critical writings have had a lasting impact on both literary studies and cultural discourse. His approach, characterized by its blend of intellectual rigor and moral passion, has inspired generations of writers, scholars, and readers. Forster's personal life was deeply intertwined with his writing, shaped by his experiences, relationships, and inner struggles. While his fiction often explored themes of connection and authenticity, Forster himself navigated a complex and, at times, challenging personal journey. His sexuality, his relationship with his mother, and his philosophical worldview all played significant roles in his life and work. Forster's upbringing was defined by his close bond with his mother, Alice Clara Wachilo. After his father died when he was just an infant, Forster was raised by his mother and a circle of strong-willed women, including his maternal grandmother. This matriarchal environment fostered his sensitivity and intellectual curiosity, but also contributed to a lifelong dependence on his mother. Forster lived with his mother for much of his adult life, and their relationship was both nurturing and stifling. While she supported his writing and career, her conservative outlook sometimes clashed with his evolving ideas and personal aspirations. This dynamic is reflected in the constrained family relationships depicted in some of his novels, such as The Longest Journey. Forster's intense bond with his mother, coupled with societal expectations, delayed his pursuit of romantic and sexual fulfillment. Her presence often limited his ability to fully explore his independence and identity. Forster was gay, a fact he came to terms with gradually in an era when homosexuality was both illegal and socially condemned in England. His sexual orientation deeply influenced his personal life and his literary works, even though he kept this aspect of his identity largely private during his lifetime. Forster became aware of his sexuality during his years at Cambridge, where the relatively liberal atmosphere allowed him to explore his feelings. However, societal repression forced him to maintain discretion, leading to periods of frustration and loneliness. One of the most formative relationships in Forster's life was with Masood, an Indian academic and friend whom Forster met in 1906. Masood awakened Forster's romantic and emotional sensibilities, inspiring his travels to India and shaping the themes of cross-cultural relationships in his work. While their bond remained platonic, it was deeply influential. In the latter part of his life, Forster formed a loving and enduring relationship with Bob Buckingham, a married policeman. Their relationship, though unconventional, provided Forster with emotional stability and companionship. Forster's novel Maurice is a groundbreaking exploration of same-sex love. Written during a period of self-discovery, the novel offered a hopeful depiction of a homosexual relationship, ending on a note of optimism that was rare for its time. Forster chose not to publish the novel during his lifetime, fearing legal and social repercussions. Its posthumous publication in 1971 cemented his legacy as a pioneer in LGBTQ+ literature. Forster's humanistic philosophy, articulated in essays like What I Believe, emphasized the importance of personal relationships and individual moral courage. Yet, despite his intellectual convictions, Forster often felt isolated, struggling to reconcile his ideals with the constraints of Edwardian society. Forster remained unmarried and childless, defying societal expectations of the time. His decision to prioritize his creative and intellectual pursuits over traditional family life reflects his commitment to authenticity. After the publication of A Passage to India in 1924, Forster largely withdrew from novel writing, a decision attributed to a combination of personal and creative factors. The pressures of societal expectations and the limitations imposed by his sexuality contributed to his retreat from public life. Forster spent his later years at King's College, Cambridge, where he found a welcoming community and a sense of belonging. His fellowship at King's allowed him to live openly as a gay man within a tolerant environment, even though the broader societal attitudes remained restrictive. By the mid-20th century, Forster was celebrated as one of England's greatest living writers. He received numerous accolades, including the Order of Merit in 1969, and became an influential voice in both literary and cultural circles. Forster maintained close relationships with younger writers and intellectuals, offering guidance and support. His correspondence with figures such as Christopher Isherwood reveals his enduring interest in the evolving literary and social landscapes. Despite his achievements, Forster grappled with feelings of unfulfilled potential. His decision to stop writing novels after a passage to India was often questioned, even by himself. Forster attributed this to a sense of creative exhaustion and the difficulty of addressing contemporary themes while remaining true to his artistic vision. Forster's personal experiences deeply informed his literary works. The themes of repression, unfulfilled desires, and the search for connection are present throughout his novels, reflecting his own struggles and triumphs. His ability to translate these personal challenges into universal narratives has contributed to the timeless appeal of his writing. Forster's contributions to literature and culture extend far beyond his own lifetime. His novels, essays, and personal philosophy have left an indelible mark on modern literature, intellectual thought, and social progress. As a writer, critic, and humanist, Forster remains a vital figure whose works continue to inspire readers, writers, and thinkers across the globe. Forster's novels are celebrated for their timeless exploration of universal themes such as connection, identity, and morality. They have become essential components of literary curricula worldwide and continue to resonate with audiences across generations. Forster's ability to create vivid, multidimensional characters has cemented his reputation as a master storyteller. His famous distinction between flat and round characters has become a foundational concept in literary analysis. A Passage to India, widely regarded as one of the greatest novels of the 20th century, its critique of colonialism and exploration of cultural tensions remain relevant in post-colonial studies. Howard's End, often seen as Forster's most complete and profound work, the novel's themes of class, property, and connection continue to inspire discussions about social justice and human relationships. Maurice, posthumously published, Maurice has become a seminal work in LGBTQ+ literature, celebrated for its honest portrayal of same-sex love and its hopeful ending. Forster's works and ideas have profoundly influenced subsequent generations of writers and thinkers. His exploration of human complexity and his advocacy for empathy and understanding have inspired numerous literary figures. Forster's nuanced approach to narrative and character influenced writers such as Virginia Woolf, Christopher Isherwood, and Kazuo Ishiguro. His blend of realism with philosophical depth provided a model for integrating social commentary into fiction. Maurice broke ground by portraying same-sex love in a positive light. Its publication in 1971 inspired a wave of LGBTQ+ writers to address themes of identity, acceptance, and love in their works. Forster's courage in writing about such topics, even if he withheld the novel during his lifetime, marked him as a pioneer in queer literature. Forster's humanist philosophy, articulated in essays like What I Believe, continues to inspire discussions about ethics, personal freedom, and the role of the individual in society. This famous phrase from Howard's End encapsulates Forster's belief in the transformative power of empathy and human connection. It has become a guiding principle in literature, education, and social activism. Forster's critiques of colonialism, authoritarianism, and social inequality resonate with contemporary debates on human rights and social justice. His insights into cultural and class dynamics remain relevant in understanding global conflicts and inequities. Forster's works have reached new audiences through acclaimed film and television adaptations, ensuring their enduring presence in popular culture. A Room with a View, 1985, directed by James Ivory. This film won multiple Academy Awards and reintroduced Forster's work to a global audience. Howard's End, 1992, another Merchant Ivory adaptation. This film received critical acclaim for its faithful portrayal of Forster's themes and characters. Maurice, 1987, celebrated for its sensitive handling of LGBTQ+ themes. The film adaptation brought Forster's once unpublished work to prominence. Forster's works have also been adapted for stage productions and television series, including the 2017 BBC adaptation of Howard's End. These adaptations continue to engage new generations of audiences with his stories and ideas. Forster's works are central to literary studies and cultural discourse, with scholars frequently exploring his insights into modernity, colonialism, and human relationships. A Passage to India is a cornerstone text in post-colonial studies, providing a nuanced critique of imperialism and its impact on personal and cultural relationships. Forster's exploration of gender roles, particularly in A Room with a View and Howard's End, has made his works relevant to feminist critiques of Edwardian society. His portrayal of non-traditional relationships in Maurice has also contributed to discussions in queer theory. Forster's influence is recognized through numerous tributes and honors. The E. M. Forster Award, established by the American Academy of Arts and Letters, supports young writers, ensuring his legacy as a champion of literary talent. His name and works are frequently referenced in literary studies, with conferences, essays, and journals dedicated to his contributions. Plaques and memorials celebrate his life and achievements, including his residence at King's College, Cambridge. Forster's personal archives, including manuscripts and letters, are preserved at Cambridge, providing valuable resources for scholars and admirers. Forster's ability to address timeless themes ensures that his works remain relevant in the 21st century. His insights into human connection, cultural clashes, and the search for authenticity resonate with contemporary audiences navigating a globalized yet divided world. In an era of increasing polarization, Forster's advocacy for empathy and understanding holds profound significance. His works encourage readers to bridge divides, challenge prejudices, and prioritize personal integrity over societal expectations. Forster's blend of wit, compassion, and intellect ensures that his voice remains as vital today as it was during his lifetime. His call to only connect continues to inspire readers, reminding them of the enduring power of human relationships. E. M. Forster, 1879 to 1970, was a celebrated English novelist, essayist, and critic whose works explore themes of connection, identity, and the moral complexities of human relationships. Born in London and educated at King's College, Cambridge, Forster's intellectual and emotional awakening was shaped by the progressive environment of his university and his deep friendships there. His novels, including A Room with a View, Howard's End, and A Passage to India, are celebrated for their vivid characters, intricate narratives, and incisive critiques of societal constraints. Forster's ability to juxtapose personal and cultural struggles allowed him to explore universal themes with profound insight. Posthumously, Maurice added a groundbreaking perspective on same-sex love, affirming his progressive humanism. Travel played a central role in shaping Forster's worldview, inspiring settings and themes in his work. His journeys to Italy, Greece, and especially India deepened his critique of colonialism and cultural divides. In his essays, such as Aspects of the Novel and What I Believe, Forster articulated his belief in the primacy of human relationships over systems, institutions, or dogmas, encapsulated in his famous phrase, "Only connect." Forster's personal life was shaped by his homosexuality, a fact he kept private during his lifetime due to societal pressures. Relationships, including those with Syed Ross Massoud and Bob Buckingham, brought him emotional fulfillment and informed his work. He spent his later years at King's College, Cambridge, where he found a supportive community. Forster's legacy is preserved through his enduring works, critical influence, and advocacy for empathy and tolerance. His novels remain central to literary studies, while film adaptations have brought his stories to new audiences. As a humanist and literary icon, Forster continues to inspire readers to bridge divides and connect across cultural and personal boundaries. His works, resonating with timeless themes, affirm his place as one of the most significant writers of the 20th century.